10 Scary Stories of the Lonely Evil Road Drive. 1. The Woman in White. I was driving home around midnight on a deserted country road when I saw a woman standing on the shoulder. She wore a long white dress. At first, I assumed her car had broken down. When I slowed down, she raised her hand and asked for a ride. Something felt wrong. Her face was hidden by her long black hair. Still, I unlocked the door. She climbed into the back seat without saying a word. For several minutes, we drove in silence. Then I looked in the rearview mirror. The back seat was empty. I slammed on the brakes. The woman was gone. My phone suddenly rang. The caller ID displayed only one word: behind. I slowly looked toward the back seat and saw her smiling inches from my face. 2. The wrong exit. I was traveling across state lines when my GPS instructed me to take an exit I had never seen before. The road was narrow and surrounded by dense forest. After 10 minutes, I noticed something strange. The GPS kept repeating, "Turn around immediately." No matter how many times I tried, there was nowhere to turn. The road seemed endless. Then I spotted a road sign. It read, "Welcome back." A few miles later, another sign appeared. "Welcome back." Then another, "Welcome back." Hours passed. I kept driving. The fuel gauge never moved. The road never ended. And every sign said the same thing: "Welcome back." 3. The headlights. At 2 a.m., I noticed headlights behind me. That wasn't unusual. The problem was they never got closer or farther away. For over an hour, they remained the exact same distance behind my car. Eventually, I pulled into a gas station. The headlights stopped too. I waited. No vehicle arrived. The lights simply hovered in the darkness, watching. The gas station attendant looked terrified when I pointed them out. He whispered, "They followed you too." Then he locked the doors. 4. Mile marker 13. Everyone in my town knew about mile marker 13. Drivers claimed strange things happened there. Most people laughed it off. I did too. Until one night, as I passed mile marker 13, my radio turned on by itself. Static filled the car. Then a voice emerged. It was my own voice. "Don't stop the car." My blood ran cold. The voice continued, "Whatever you see, don't stop." Moments later, I spotted a wrecked vehicle in the middle of the road. A man stood beside it waving frantically, begging for help. I nearly stopped. Then I noticed something impossible. The man had no face.
5. The last passenger. I worked as a rideshare driver. One rainy night, I accepted a pickup request on a lonely highway. The passenger entered the back seat. An elderly man. He gave me an address and remained silent throughout the ride. When we arrived, I turned around to tell him the fare. The seat was empty. Confused, I checked the app. The trip had vanished. No passenger, no payment, nothing. The next day, I returned to the address. A woman answered the door. When I described the old man, she started crying, then showed me a photograph. It was him. Her father. He had died 5 years earlier. As I walked away, my phone buzzed. A new ride request appeared. Pickup location: the cemetery. 6. The hitchhiker's warning. I was driving down an empty highway at around 1 a.m. when I saw a young man standing beside the road. His clothes were dirty and torn. He looked terrified. I pulled over and offered him a ride. The moment he got in, he locked the doors. "Don't stop for anyone," he said. I laughed nervously. "What are you talking about?" He stared out the window. "Because it's following us." A chill ran down my spine. A few miles later, I spotted a figure standing in the middle of the road. It looked exactly like the hitchhiker sitting beside me. Same face, same clothes, same terrified expression. I slammed on the brakes. When I turned to my passenger, He was gone. 7. The car behind me. One night I noticed a black car following me. Every turn I made, it made. Every road I took, it followed. After 30 minutes, I became convinced someone was stalking me. I sped up. The black car sped up. I slowed down. It slowed down. Finally, I drove straight to the nearest police station. As I pulled into the parking lot, the black car stopped outside the gate. A police officer approached my window. I pointed toward the vehicle. "What does that guy want?" The officer's face went pale. "There is no car behind you." I looked in my mirror. The road was empty. 8. The midnight toll booth. I was driving through a remote area when I reached a toll booth. Strange thing was, the road had no toll booths, at least none that I knew of. The booth was old and poorly lit. A man inside motioned for me to stop. I handed him some cash. He smiled, then handed me a ticket. On the ticket was today's date, and underneath it, time of death 12:17 a.m. My dashboard clock read 12:16. Terrified, I sped away. A minute later, a massive truck ran a red light and crashed through the intersection I had just avoided. The clock changed to 12:17. When I looked back, the toll booth had vanished. 9. The radio station. During a late-night drive, my radio suddenly switched stations. A voice began speaking. It was describing my car, my location, even what I was wearing. I quickly changed stations. The same voice continued. Every station, every frequency. Then it said something that froze my blood. "The driver is about to see a child standing on the road." A few seconds later, a little girl appeared in my headlights. I swerved, nearly crashing. The voice laughed, then said, "He saw her." The radio immediately went silent. Forever. It never worked again. 10. The endless road. This happened 3 years ago, and I still don't understand it. I was driving home from work when I took a shortcut through a rural road. The road should have taken 10 minutes. After an hour, I was still driving. The same trees, the same road, the same darkness. Then I saw a gas station. Relieved, I pulled in. An old man stood outside. I asked for directions. He looked at me strangely, then asked a question. "What year do you think it is?" I laughed. The old man's face drained of color. "Son, it's Arlington Art." I thought he was joking, until he showed me a newspaper. The date was real. Terrified, I got back into my car and drove. Hours later, I suddenly found myself at the exact spot where I had entered the shortcut. Only 10 minutes had passed, or so I thought. When I got home, there were 6 years' worth of missed calls, messages, and news reports. According to everyone I knew, I had been missing for 6 years. And to this day, every once in a while, I wake up in the middle of the night and hear a car engine outside. When I look through the window, I see my own vehicle parked across the street, the same one I drove on that road. The problem is, my car is already in my driveway.